everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Donna, and this is Una Day, and I want to tell you about my weekend. So I went treasure hunting at an antique place. Really, it's a hodgepodge of junk, but I found some treasures. You got to dig. And I found a few things, so that was fun. Did that on Saturday. And today is Sunday as I'm filming this. And the reason why I'm dressed this way is because our church celebrated the 12 tribes of Israel. So today was a day of giving where each tribe, and there's 12 tribes, fundraised and gave money to the church for whatever endeavors they needed to do. So we were able to contribute our donations to the pastor, and it was just fun. It was just fun. It was a fun day. It was absolutely fun, and the weather's gorgeous. So let me get started. I bought some books, and I want to tell you about them real quick. So, yeah, I've been at it again. I need to start a group book buying addiction. Anyway, let me tell you what I got. First, the books I've been reading have been so heavy in content. I just needed some romance, something lighthearted, whatever. And so I was in the mood to purchase romance books, and that's what I did. And this came highly recommended. So Before I Let Go is by Kennedy Ryan. And this book is a romance published in 2022. And it says their lives was supposed to last forever, but when life delivered blow after devastating blow, Yasmin and Josiah Wade found that love alone couldn't solve or save everything. It couldn't save their marriage. Yasmin wasn't prepared for how her life fell apart, but she's finally starting to find joy again. She and Josiah have found a new rhythm, co-parenting their 2 kids and running a thriving business together. Yet, like magnets, they're always drawn back to each other, and now they're beginning to wonder if they're truly ready to let go of everything they once had. So, I need something that's gonna lighten my mood, and there we go, Before I Let Go. Another purchase I made is another romance book. I'm telling you, I was in the mood. I'm like, these books I'm reading are heavy and some are depressing. So I needed something. And again, this came highly recommended, and it's 7 Days in June. And this is by Tia Williams. And I know she has several other books out. Excuse me. But 7 Days to Fall in Love, 15 Years to Forget, and 7 Days to Get It All Back Again. It says, over the next 7 days, amidst a steamy Brooklyn summer, Eva and Shane reconnect, but Eva's story of the man who broke her heart and wants him out of the city so her life can return to normal. Before Shane disappears, though, she needs a few questions answered. When its keen observation of creative life in America today, as well as the joy and complications of being a mother and a daughter, 7 Days in June is a hilarious, romantic, and sexy as hell story of 2 writers discovering their second chance at love. I cut out some of that synopsis, and because this has been around for a while, and people probably already have read it, know about it. And so anyway, I have not read it. And this is going on my TBR, in my TBR jar. I don't know when I'll get to it. But I definitely, even just buying books that were a little lighter in subject matter made me feel better. Now this book I'm going to show you, I purchased a library copy years back, and this is Whitfield. I had the pleasure of attending one of his book signings, and he has several other books, and it's called, this one, Something's Wrong with Your Scale, Whitfield. And this book was published in 1999, okay? And I didn't want to, when I saw that I could get a new copy of it and not an ex-library copy, I decided to go ahead and purchase it. And here are two of his other books that he published. Beeperless Remote, a romantic comedy, and Guys in Suits. I think I read Beeperless Remote as well as Something's Wrong with Your Scale. I don't think I ever got around to Guys in Suits, but he's funny. He's like a stand-up comedian in his writing. And if you ever see these, I recommend pick him up. He's funny. I don't even know if he's put anything out since these books, and it's been a while, but these are good books. Whitfield. So that's that. And I went on a shopping trip. And if any of you have heard of this store called Ollie's, it's a bargain outlet store. And I went to the one here in Alabama, and I found some treasures. I mean, the books were so inexpensive. So I'm going to show you what I got. And the first book I purchased was Bamboozled by Jesus, How God Tricked Me into the Life of My Dreams, Yvonne Orji. So I did see a book review on another booktuber's channel, and apparently they enjoyed this. It's a memoir. And here we got a review by Kerry Washington, Chris Rock. I mean, I had never heard of her. And it says here, this was published in 2021. So Yvonne Orji is a thriving stand-up comic and actress, best known as Issa Rae's BFF on the HBO series Insecure. I have not seen that. Now as Arthur and your new best friend, Yvonne shares the secret to the life of your dreams. In her new book, Bamboozled by Jesus, Yvonne hilariously, with tremendous wisdom, explores the trials and victories she has experienced on the way to the life of her dreams. Whatever greatness, whatever joy we may hope for, Yvonne is here to tell us that God has something even bigger and better in store for us, as if we can trust him, and he can be open to having our minds blown by his goodness, his creativity, and his knack for surprises. From her early days as a wedding MC and struggling comic to her recent Emmy nomination, Yvonne's story will encourage you to believe that more is possible for your own life when you let go and embrace the adventure. That's going to be a pretty good read. I think Praise for Bamboozled by Jesus. All right. That was a good buy. And I think I only paid like $4.99, $5 for it. Ollie's. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay, and another book I purchased. Let me get this in order. At Ollie's. And again, I heard another booktuber praise this book, said they really enjoyed it. I'm not a big fan of this person. However, I love to learn about their life, and that's The Meaning of Mariah Carey by Mariah Carey and Michaela Angela Davis. This is a memoir, and this was published in 2020. It said, it took me a lifetime to have the courage and the clarity to write my memoir. I want to tell the story of the moments, the ups and downs, the triumphs and traumas, the debacles and the dreams that contributed to the person I am today. Though there have been countless stories about me throughout my career and very public personal life, it's been impossible to communicate the complexities and depths of my experience in any single magazine article or 10-minute television interview. And even then, my words were filtered through someone else's lens, largely satisfying someone else's assignment to define me. So, I truly believe that, especially when you are a celebrity, a public figure, they watch every single thing you do, and your life is not your own anymore, hardly. You are invaded by public. And so, look at this. There's even a picture of her when she was younger. Cute thing, cute thing. I think they recently made her the Queen of Christmas music. Anyway, this should be an interesting read. I'm looking forward to it one day. One day. Excuse me. Allergies. Pollen is floating around. And here in Alabama, it's been pretty warm. Trees have budded, flowers bloom and blooming. So, I got allergies. Anyway, so the last book I purchased at Ollie's, and I mentioned this in another video when I was reading Can't We Be Friends? The story between Marilyn Monroe and Ella Fitzgerald. And I remember seeing this book at Ollie's before, and I didn't pick it up. So I went ahead and I got it this time. Look at that. Marilyn Monroe, A Photographic Life. And there's actual memorabilia. Got a picture of all the things that's in the very back in this envelope. I haven't even opened it yet, but you open this envelope and it's got photos and cards and postcards, different things, I guess. A treasure trove of personal ephemera from the iconic blonde bombshell. So, I mean, her life, whew, very sad. And Marilyn, A Photographic Life, delves into the life of the star before, during, and after she becomes a blonde bombshell. Born Norma Jean Mortensen, the baker came later. She had a troubled childhood that culminated in her self-described inferiority complex. Yeah, she was very unsure of herself. By all the while, she dreamed of something more. Read the stories behind her first marriage and why she kept it secret, when she started modeling, her early roles with the studios, and the one exec who thought she didn't have it, and her life as a budding actress that include humble anecdotes. At one point, she was so poor that she had a roommate, shared one pair of high heels, and whoever had a date that night got to wear them. Wow. So she came up from the ranks, from poverty, shuffled around in orphanages and or foster homes. And she had a mother, and mother just couldn't take care of her. So I'm looking forward to cruising through this. It's got lots of pictures. And I guess that book I read, right, Can't We Be Friends, just sparked my even more interest in Marilyn. I already had it, but just learning more about how her life was very saddening. Yeah, just wanted to read some more. All right, now I purchased 2 Kindle books, and I'll show them here over my shoulder. And one is called Marry Not Broken by Deborah L. King. And that book came out in 2023 to October 2023. It's fiction. It's set in the 1930s Mississippi. Mary Johnson hates the oppressive heat, working on her family farm, and having to attend her minister father's church several times a week. But she loves Mason Carter, her musician boyfriend. Both fantasize about living the high life up north in the big city when William Beavers, a wealthy old preacher, comes to court her. He promises a life of luxury along with money and status for her family. Mary wants nothing to do with him, but her parents decide for her. Determined to avoid a forced marriage, Mary elopes with Mason to the bright lights of Chicago. But life up north is not the dream they expected. Multiple tragedies push Mary to the brink, and she soon returns home to the very world she tried so desperately to escape. Too numb to stave off the pressure from her father, Mary considers accepting William's proposal, but she soon realizes that life as the preacher's wife might not provide the safety and security she craves. Ooh. Okay, I may have to push that one off a little bit. I'm trying to get off of these depressing storylines. But that sounds very, very interesting. So it's on my Kindle. Now I'll get to it one day. And the second Kindle book I purchased it's short. It's like only 50 pages, and it's Fallen Grace by Sadeqa Johnson. And you know her as a writer of The Yellow Wife and some other books. And it says here was published, this book this snippet, short stories, just came out in February of this year. A single mother in segregated Virginia pushes back on societal prejudice and her own family's judgment in an emotionally powerful short story by New York Times bestselling author Sadeqa Johnson. With a newborn in tow, Bubbles Jones escapes a brutal sanctuary for wayward girls to confront the hypocritical shame of her pastor father, and the betrayal of a lover. But Bubbles is accompanied by a woman who offers her shelter and a dream. Forging on unpredictable path ahead, Bubbles will not yield and will not hide in her unwavering commitment to make a big life real in a world determined to keep her small. Sadeqa Johnson's Falling Grace is part of Blaze, a collection of short stories about incendiary women across the decades who dare to defy convention. They can be read or listened to in one sitting. So these books are on, you can purchase them through Amazon. I'm not sure where else, but I saw the name, recognized the name, Sadeqa Johnson, and said, oh, I'm adding this to my Kindle. And so I'm looking forward to reading that. And you notice the theme is like the two Kindle books, I think, are preachers' daughters. So, yeah, that's a good storyline, I guess. Okay, I'm going to show you another purchase I made. There's a young lady in my town, and she is in our incubator space. It's a small pop-up shop, and she had her grand opening this weekend. I think it was on Friday. So that was something else I did this weekend. And it's called Pure Marion. Miss Jaleesa Jackson, she created the logo, and she sold some merchandise, and so we took advantage of it. And I am a lover of bags, so here is what I got. It says Marion, Alabama, and we are known as the College City because so many colleges were formed out of this little town, historic town. So I got the bag, and I got a cup, and it says, never forget the difference you've made. So I patronized and I purchased, and she's doing well so far. And so she'll be in that incubator space for at least, I think, a year, and see if she's ready to move into a brick and mortar. So that's that. Now, I want to just briefly tell you what I'm reading. I am still hashing this out, but I am almost done. I was hoping by the time I made this video, I would be done because I'm only in the last few pages. This is all I have left. And this was a read with my book group, but I missed the discussion because I was tied up with something else. Plus, I hadn't finished reading, but it's really, really packed with information. I'll give a small review, but I will have a more elaborate review on my blog. I'm also reading heavy. Now, I'm supposed to have a book discussion Tuesday. I'm going to listen to it in audio and see how much of it I can get done. I literally just started, so we'll see how far I get, and so far it's heavy in more ways than one. Okay. I don't know why I'm reading all these heavy subjects, because this is another one I started reading. Let me show you. We Are All So Good at Smiling, and it's written in verse. The book reads fast, but it's written in verse by Amber McBride, and it's about depression, suicidal thoughts, It started out when she was committed, I guess, to an institution. Her parents put her in there, probably one of those 72-hour holes. They took everything away that could possibly hurt or harm herself. And I'm like, oh my. And she's only a teenager. So I'm hashing through it, but I need something really like to read. And speaking of that, I want to read this by Percival Everett, Erasure. I'm sure you all have heard about the show. I forget what channel it's on. I'm not sure if it's Netflix or Hulu, but it's, it's a series and I want to see it. It's based around this book with Jeffrey Wright, and it's got such good actors, and Tracy Ellis Ross, and Leslie Uggams, Erica Alexander, and I'm missing somebody else. But anyway, I want to read this before I watch the series. So, I'm getting to it. And finally, I want to do a book review. I finished this from my TBR jar. Mother Country by Jacinda Townsend. So, I had difficulties getting through this book. The storyline is very interesting. So you've got Shannon, she's the main character. She's an American. You got Vlad, he's an American. He's a mechanical engineer, and he does a lot of work out of the country. And they got married not long after meeting each other. However, she cannot have children. He wants a child. She won't tell him that she's incapable of having kids because of an accident she was in. And so then it goes back and forth. There's Sadeqa. She is a Senegalese, I believe, native. And I'm reading my notes. This was not an easy read. However, it's worth preserving to get to the end, and the storyline has a very interesting message. I was uncomfortable at some points of the book. It does have triggering points for rape and prostitution and kidnapping and pushed into slavery, and I'm trying not to give away too much of the book in case you desire to read it for yourself, but you got to keep reading, pushing through. There's a lot of other foreign languages in it, and sites and scenes that I wasn't familiar with in Morocco, and I guess part of Africa. The girl who was kidnapped was from the desert. She lived in the desert with her family, and she was trying to get back to him. She had gotten free from her kidnappers. But it comes full circle, because then her own child, she got pregnant, I think, by one of the persons who had kidnapped her, and she didn't have papers to go across the border to try to find her family. And she knew this, but she had to work. And while she's working, her daughter, who is 2 years old, I believe at the time, is toddling around outside the building where she works. And this American tourist, Shannon, keeps seeing the girl, thinks that the girl has no parents. And what perfect condition is it that she cannot bear children. She hasn't told her husband, but yet here's a child that she thinks she could just takes this child back to America. And then it goes back to Saria, the one in the biological mother. And she is so sad and depressed and trying to find her daughter. And I'm not going to give away the end, but it does come full circle. So it's a lot in here, but you got to wade through. I had to wade through all of the prose and the verses that this writer writes with. It's to me, a lot of it was very difficult to grasp. However, I guess it's the nature of the characters that you have to understand. But anyway, I wouldn't say don't read it. I think in my head, I gave it like a 3-star rating. It could possibly be a 3.5, but I had some difficulty and I was determined to push through it, and I did. And the ending, it had a kind of a surprise twist, but Mother Country. So decide for yourself. Yeah. Well, I'm getting ready to end this, and I'm going to pick another book from my TBR jar. I mean, that's the only way I'll get these books read. I have so many. I have so many books, and my TBR jar is still full. It's still full of books. So let's pick one. Let's see. Because next I have to read for the month of April, Thicker Than Water, with my book club. But in the meantime, okay, I picked Wahala by Nikki May. Wahala. And I hear that's a good read. So I will get to it. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. I didn't want this to be too lengthy. And we'll talk about some other good things when I come back. So have a good rest of your day. And thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And we'll see you again. Bye.